Listen, for the next 3 days, I want you to shut down every distraction in your life. No comparison, no gossip, no wasted scrolling. Just you versus you. Because the truth is, most people never take time to focus on themselves. They're too busy watching what everyone else is doing, liking other people's success, and wondering why their own life feels stuck. Energy flows where focus goes. Starve your distractions. Feed your goals. Everything you touch, everything you think about, everything you give your attention to, it grows. That's not philosophy. That's physics. The human mind is an amplifier. Whatever signal you tune into, it expands. You focus on problems, you get more problems. You focus on growth, you get more growth. You focus on the pain multiplies. You focus on possibility, and suddenly, the world opens up. That's why focus is not just about what you look at, it's about what you feed. Every day you wake up with a limited amount of energy, physical, mental, emotional, and if you're honest with yourself, most of that energy leaks away through distractions. Endless scrolling, gossip, unnecessary worries, comparison, things that don't bring you closer to your goals but keep you busy enough to feel productive. That's the trap. The illusion of activity replacing the satisfaction of progress. But think about this. Every successful person you admire, every high performer, every leader, they didn't get there because they had more hours. They had the same 24. They got there because they controlled what they fed. They starved the noise. They made their energy serve their purpose. They became masters at saying no. Because here's the truth. Success is not about doing more. It's about doing less of what doesn't matter. The person who learns to focus, who learns to direct their attention intentionally, has the ultimate power. You can't build greatness with scattered energy. You can't build momentum while constantly distracted. You can't reach your peak when your attention is divided. Focus isn't a skill, it's a choice, a decision you make moment by moment. Every distraction you eliminate is like reclaiming a piece of your potential. Every time you say not now to temptation, you say yes to your future. Imagine your energy as light when scattered. It's soft, unfocused, barely warm. But when concentrated, it's a laser sharp enough to cut through steel. That's what happens when you direct your focus toward a single goal. You become unstoppable, and yet, most people are starving for success while feeding their distractions. They keep saying they want change, but they nourish the same habits that destroy their focus. You can't scroll your way to clarity. You can't complain your way to growth. You can't multitask your way to mastery. If you want your life to shift, your focus must shift first. You need to take ownership of your attention like it's your most valuable currency, because it is. You can lose money and make it back. But once you waste time, it's gone. Every notification, every interruption, every meaningless conversation, it costs you something you can't buy back. So when you catch yourself drifting, remind yourself, energy flows where focus goes. You are not a victim of distraction. You are the architect of attention. You decide where your energy lives. Feed your goals. Feed your purpose. Feed your mind with things that lift you higher. Spend your mornings on what matters. Fill your days with intention. When you pour energy into your goals, they begin to breathe. They start to take shape. And once you see progress, you'll never want to go back to wasting time again. Every focused hour compounds. Every intentional act builds momentum. And one day, you'll look back and realize that your focus was the turning point, the moment your scattered energy became unstoppable power. Now here's the second truth. 3 days of total focus can reveal who you truly are. You don't need a lifetime to change. You just need a short period of radical discipline. Most people overestimate how much time it takes to transform and underestimate how much change can happen in a few days of laser focus. 3 days. That's all it takes to remind yourself of your strength, to reset your discipline, to wake up the part of you that's been asleep. Because when you give yourself 3 days of total focus, no distractions, no noise, no excuses, something profound happens. At first, it's uncomfortable. The mind resists. You'll feel restless, like you're missing something. That's withdrawal, not from productivity, but from distraction. You've been conditioned to react, to check, to consume. But when you remove that constant input, you start hearing your own thoughts again. You begin to realize how scattered your attention was. And that awareness, that moment of clarity, is where transformation begins. The first day feels heavy. You'll notice how often you reach for your phone, how easily your mind drifts, how uncomfortable silence feels. That's okay. That's your brain detoxing from noise. Keep going. The second day, something shifts. You start to settle. Your focus sharpens. The cravings to check everything fade. Your energy feels different, more grounded, more directed. You begin to think clearly again. Ideas that were buried under distractions start rising. You remember what you want, not what the world told you to want. By the third day, you start feeling unstoppable. You look around and realize how much time you were wasting before. Your confidence grows, not because you achieved everything, but because you finally feel in control again. You realize that discipline isn't about restriction, it's about freedom. The freedom to live without being owned by distractions, the freedom to create instead of consume, the freedom to be present. 3 days of total focus, that's the spark. It's not about achieving your dream in 3 days, it's about awakening your potential. It's about proving to yourself that you can do hard things. It's about remembering that your goals need your attention, not your excuses. And once you experience that level of focus, you won't want to go back. You'll realize how alive you feel when you're fully locked in, when every action is aligned with your purpose. You'll realize that the person you've been chasing isn't out there. They're buried beneath layers of distraction, and with focus, you uncover them. 3 days. That's it. No miracle formula, no secret hack, just pure commitment. You wake up with a mission, you execute without negotiation, and you repeat. You'll be amazed at what happens when your energy stops leaking into 1,000 useless places and starts flowing into one powerful direction. The beautiful thing about focus is that it multiplies. After 3 days, your brain begins to crave clarity. It starts preferring silence over noise, progress over pleasure, meaning over distraction. And that's when the real transformation begins, not because something magical happened, but because you reclaimed ownership of your mind. If you can give yourself 3 days of absolute focus, you'll see glimpses of your true potential. You'll feel the power that's been sitting dormant inside you. You'll understand that you never lacked ability, only attention. And here's what's powerful. If you can stay focused for 3 days, you can do it for a week. If you can do it for a week, you can do it for a month. That's how momentum begins, not in giant leaps, but in small, consistent bursts of focus that build unshakable discipline. People think greatness is complicated, but it's not. It's simple. It's just not easy. It's the simple act of choosing focus over distraction again and again until it becomes who you are. Focus doesn't just change your results, it changes your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone trying to change and start seeing yourself as someone who's already doing it. You shift from wishing to working, from waiting to acting, from talking to becoming. And when you focus like that, even for 3 days, you start to feel it in your bones. That hunger, that drive, that silent pride that comes from keeping a promise to yourself. You stop needing validation because progress becomes your reward. The world will try to pull your attention away. It will throw distractions, doubts, and drama at you. But once you've tasted the clarity that comes from true focus, you won't trade it for anything. You'll know that your energy is sacred, your attention is your weapon, and your focus is your superpower. So, starve your distractions, feed your goals, and give yourself 3 days of total focus. Because once you do, you'll never again wonder who you could have been. You'll start becoming that person, one focused moment at a time. You can't change your life if you keep avoiding your work. That sentence might sting, but it's the truth most people need to hear. Everyone says they want success, freedom, or a better life. But when it's time to show up and do the real work, the hard, boring, unglamorous work, they hesitate. They find reasons to delay, distractions to justify it, excuses to soften the guilt. But here's the reality. Nothing changes until you do. You can't manifest your way into progress. You can't wish your way into excellence. The only path to transformation runs straight through effort. The difference between where you are and where you want to be is measured in disciplined action. Not dreams, not motivation, not someday. It's what you choose to do when no one's watching, when you don't feel like it, when it's easier to scroll, rest, or pretend you're planning. The world doesn't reward potential. It rewards performance. You might have all the talent, intelligence, or ideas in the world, but if you avoid putting them into motion, they mean nothing. Execution beats intention every time. Avoiding your work is easy. It's safe. There's no rejection in planning, no failure in procrastination, no judgment in waiting for the right time. But that safety is the enemy of your growth. The longer you hide behind excuses, the further you drift from the life you say you want. Because while you're hesitating, someone else is working. While you're perfecting your plan, someone else is building theirs in real time. And when you finally decide to move, you'll be behind not because you lack talent, but because you avoided the grind. Work is the bridge between goals and results. And most people stand on the starting side, staring at the bridge, talking about how beautiful it will be to cross it someday. But the truth is, no one carries you across. You build that bridge brick by brick, with sweat, time, and focus. Every skipped day is a missing brick. Every excuse weakens the structure. Eventually, the dream collapses not because it was impossible, but because it was neglected. Here's the truth no one likes to admit. The work will never feel perfect. You won't always be inspired. You won't always feel ready, but you have to do it anyway. Success isn't built on motivation, it's built on consistency. The ones who win aren't the ones who always feel like working, they're the ones who do it regardless. Discipline is the difference between average and exceptional. Every moment you avoid your work, you train your brain to tolerate mediocrity. You teach yourself that comfort is more important than progress. But every time you push through resistance, you grow stronger. You create momentum. You reinforce the identity of someone who follows through. And once that identity takes root, it becomes your edge. You no longer need to force yourself to work. You simply become the kind of person who does. You can't cheat your way around effort. You can't fake consistency. The universe doesn't give rewards for intention. It gives them for execution. If you want to change your life, you must start doing the work you've been avoiding, the difficult, uncomfortable, necessary work. The conversations you've been putting off, the habits you've been ignoring, the projects you've been overthinking, those are the keys to your next level. The day you stop running from your work is the day your life starts shifting. You'll realize that what looked like an obstacle was really an opportunity for growth. You'll feel that quiet pride that comes only from earning progress. And in that moment, you'll understand your work isn't punishment, it's the price of transformation. You can't change your life if you keep avoiding it. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Start. Do the work. The results will follow. Discipline beats motivation every single time. Motivation is a spark. It burns hot, it feels good, but it fades fast. Discipline is the engine. It doesn't need to feel good. It just runs. It keeps moving even when the road gets rough, even when the fire of excitement dies down. That's what separates dreamers from doers' discipline. Everyone feels motivated when things are easy, when the sun is out, when the results show quickly. But true greatness is born in the moments when you feel nothing, when you're tired, uninspired, and no one's clapping, yet you still show up and do what needs to be done. People chase motivation like it's fuel, thinking they need to feel inspired to act. But that's backward. Action creates motivation. Every time you take a step, you build momentum. Every time you do what you said you would do, your brain starts to trust you. That trust turns into belief, and belief turns into power. But when you wait for motivation, you hand your progress over to your emotions. And emotions are unstable. They change with weather, sleep, stress, moods. If you rely on them, you'll live your life starting and stopping, fired up one day, empty the next. Discipline is the opposite. It doesn't care how you feel. It's a decision that says, I don't need to feel ready, I just need to move. Discipline is the muscle that lets you push through resistance. The stronger it gets, the easier everything else becomes. Motivation can get you started, but discipline keeps you going when motivation disappears. And it always disappears. That's why people who rely on discipline look unstoppable. They're not superhuman. They're consistent. Think about athletes, creators, entrepreneurs, anyone at the top of their game. They all share one thing: structure, routine, discipline. They don't negotiate with themselves every morning about whether to show up. They just show up because they know that if they only work when they feel like it, they'll never reach their potential. You can't build greatness on feelings, you build it on habits. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's waking up before you want to. It's saying no to distractions that promise quick pleasure. It's repeating small, unexciting actions over and over until they compound into something powerful. Most people quit because they get bored. They mistake repetition for stagnation. But the disciplined person understands that repetition is the foundation of mastery. Every rep, every task, every moment of effort adds another layer of strength. The truth is, discipline doesn't limit your freedom. It creates it. People think freedom means doing whatever they want, whenever they want. But real freedom is the ability to make choices that serve your goals, not your impulses. The person who's mastered discipline can enjoy rest without guilt, success without fear, and challenge without collapse, because they've trained their mind to act based on commitment, not convenience. There will be days when you won't want to move. Days when progress feels invisible. That's when discipline whispers, do it anyway. That's when the transformation happens, not when you're excited, but when you're exhausted and you still choose to act. That's how you separate yourself from the average. You keep promises to yourself long after the feeling has faded. Discipline doesn't require perfection. It requires persistence. You'll fall off. You'll mess up. But what matters is how quickly you come back. Motivation will tell you to wait until tomorrow. Discipline tells you to start again today. And that decision, that single choice, is where confidence is built. Because discipline teaches you self-respect. It reminds you that your word matters, that your effort counts, that you are capable of doing hard things consistently.